All right, guys, today we're going to make a 21 Savage beat inside of Logic Pro 11. You guys will get the project files for free. So let's hop straight into it. Mainly for 21 Savage, it's all about this atmospheric dark sound. I'll show you guys a quick way to get that sound. You can build off a sample, but let's just go to Omnisphere because Omnisphere has so many really dope sounds. I'm going to show you guys a new library inside of Omnisphere. It's called Retro Vibes and it sounds really good. So the BPM, we're going to go up to like 140-ish. Somewhere around 140, 138. We don't need to get fancy. Just 140 is a good starting point. And all right, 140, there we go. And Omnisphere 3 has this directory called the Retro Vibes. This is like the one. Okay, let's go to all. And basically you can go to bells and different sounds. Really can't go wrong with the sounds here. I'm just gonna click shuffle just to show you guys, like I can click on anything really. You guys are hearing some of my piano, so let me turn that up. So all types of dope sounds in here. This reminds me of the Unclean Machine in Omnisphere 2. This is crazy fire. Let's, we definitely need to save this. Let's sort it by rating, and then we're gonna save that as 5-star. This is a 5-star. We're just playing E minor and then F minor. So the sounds have a natural pitch bend over them. That's what creates that wobbly sound. All right, so E minor to F minor, let's record this at 140. My hands weren't ready to do a switch up. So B minor was the chord I tried to hit at the very end. So this sounds like, you know, a haunted 90s VHS store. So now we have the harmony. This is called the harmony section. Let's add contrast layer using Omnisphere. We're going for more of like a Reese type bass. Let's see what they have in here. It's got a retro vibes. It's got a bass. I like these sounds. This is super dope. Quantize this a little bit. Let's double click in here. Let's hit Control A, hit Q. So I'm going to loop this 4 times, but we're going to get rid of the bass probably on the second half. So we're going to loop everything for 4 times. Well, the chords 4 times. The bass, we're probably going to switch up to an 808 or something. Now let's look for a top line melody. The top line is going to be your highest frequency in the composition, usually speaking. All we're playing is E minor and F minor. We're just going in arpeggio style back down the chord. The sound gets a little loud towards the end, so I'm gonna just turn it down. Still a little loud. One thing I like to mess with is under the audio effects, I like the multi-effect called Beat Breaker. In here, we can go to where it says halftime and blend this in. I like to blend this in on bells for a double layer. I bet I added that to the wrong omnisphere. All right, so let's do that over here. All right, I was turning down the bass that whole time. Whoops. Okay, there we go. Now we can automate, what's it called, beat breaker. It might be just overkill to automate it. I might try to automate it just so it feels like two different sections on the bell. So for example, let's add beat breaker to the bell. Let's go to multi-effects, beat breaker. I like to go to halftime and mess with the mix level here. You could do full 100% or you could just blend it in. Blend it in. So I like this effect here. So I like it the way it is. Let's go to the automations lane and see if we can figure out how to automate this effect. Let's go to beat break, mix. What's this bypass below? I don't know what that means. So let's just go to mix and we're going to double click in here. Just turn it down to 0 for the beginning part. Left click this little node here and let's zoom in, click a node. And then we need, I think 2 nodes, right? Yeah, and then make like a little thing like this. I don't know how to make a perfect line here. This is kind of hard to do without snapping. So anyway, we're going to double click. So hopefully this does what I need it to do. So let's turn this up to 100. I'm sure there's a button for snapping. Okay, so I think the button is shift. Helps you snap a little bit. I think that's how it works. I don't know. I don't know everything about Logic. Turn this down. All right, so we have like it turns on and turns off. It's important to turn it off because we don't want it through the whole song. Now we can add the rhythms and just another instrument that wants to stand out. For this instrument, I'm probably going to go for more of an atmospheric sound. I'll show you guys how to get a haunted sound. First, let's just find an instrument to add in, maybe a stringed instrument like a violin. Right now on the violin, we're going to probably swap out the sound, but for the violin, we're going to go into Omnisphere. I'll show you guys a little trick. Go to the effects and let's go to the common tab. And let's see, I thought you could lock the effects. I forgot how to do it. Let's see if there's a button. I forgot how to lock it. Never mind. I thought I knew something. Never mind. Let's go to, I swear there was a lock button on here. I know I'm not tripping. I'm pretty sure there's a way to lock these effects. Regardless, actually, we could use the Omnisphere. I just remembered. Let's go to the FX-Omnisphere. This is their effects plugin. We're going to load up what's called the Solar Shimmer Reverb. And what this is going to do is granulize the sound and pitch it up 12 semitones. And just make it darker. Let's solo the sound. And we can blend them with their new reverse tool called flip backward. And we could also combine this with, I think they even have a half speed effect. Yeah, I think it's called like warp shift. No, it's called half speeder. So this is their built-in half speed, and you could do different lengths here. So let's see what this all sounds like combined. And now we can go back to the source and just swap out the sounds. So we're just looking for a texture, not like a melodic movement. We're just looking for a texture and ambience there. We'll probably change that sound later. And now let's start finding some drums here in the browser. All right, so if you want to truncate the sample, turn it off from one-shot mode to classic mode. It will read the actual envelope in the bottom right. So it gives us a little more control to truncate the 808s. So I'm using the 808 more for feeling than the impact. We're probably gonna use a kick combined with this. I don't know what I did, but changing the pitch just makes it sound cool. From this point, we just need some hi-hats and to figure out the 808 combo with the kick. like we can get, I feel like the 808 could change, but trying to think. What else can we add? We might need an open hi-hat. All right, so we just need to adjust microscopic little time because quantizing everything can actually make it somewhat worse. So let's save this and let's hit Q to quantize. So the open hi-hat's really low in volume. Let me see if I can crank it up a little. We have to go to it on the sampler level. So we need to go basically down into the group, click on the sample itself and open up the sampler here. And then we could just turn up the volume. And I like to add drive too sometimes. And it needs a little micro tuning. Like it could be louder, but I don't want to push the sound here. We could also turn it up on the channel level. There we go. I feel like the kick's a little early, so let's go to the kick, figure out where the kick is. And where did the kick? I think the kick's on this. Where's the kick? All right. Oh, here it is. So on the kick, we're going to add a plugin just to the kick called sample delay. This basically will offset the sample. If you link left and right, we could just turn this up. It will delay the kick. We could do the same thing with the hi-hats. It's a little too on the grid. Let's swap out the 808. I feel like the 808 just needs to be changed. Let's pick a different 808. Now this 808 is more tonal and feeling, not so much impact. Let's try this one. This one's a little bit more rumbly. I'm just gonna tune it by ear. I like this octave a little bit better for this 808. And I might take off the, because now the floor is rumbling, so it sounds dope. I might take off the envelope. That way the 808 rides all the way out. All right, now the 808 shaking the whole room. So I'm trying not to get too in the weeds about mixing here, but let's add a Fab Filter Pro Q. And we need to sidechain from the kick. So let's find the instrument level. Let's go to Boominati kick. And we need to double click here. Go to the dynamic mode, turn it on auto mode, hit this little button. And then basically every time the kick hits, it will turn down the volume of the 808. I don't know if that takes away the vibe. Yeah, it definitely takes away the vibe. In this case, I don't care if the kick and the 808 are clashing because the 808 has such a supportive low end, it shakes the entire floor. If you start sidechaining, it kills that whole effect. Yeah, we're also pushing 5 dB, so let's start to go to the stereo channel and just manage the volume. So let's go to channel. We're going to pull the whole thing down about 6 dB. Or, you know what we could do? Actually, here's what I'll do. We're going to group the beat stuff into, it's called a track stack, a summing stack, so that we could add effects to it. Let's add beat mix. And then here we're going to add the channel EQ. So that way you guys can still hear me at the same volume. All right. Boom. Then we could type in -6. Just to compensate for how loud this track is. The floor is still shaking even -6. so this will give us a better perspective on what it actually sounds like versus it just being clipped through Logic. Let's go all the way back to the beginning here. So now we just need like different instruments to add in here. I think we're already done with the instruments, but I might add reverb as an instrument. All right, so what I'll do is I'll reduce the snare to just one snare instead of like traceal bounce, because it creates a certain expectation. So let's just get rid of these second snares here. So we're gonna hit, what is it, shift? Clicking all the wrong buttons here, y'all. Okay, so I think it's shift allows you to select multiple snares. And this way we can get rid of some of the bounce. Also, we don't need the snare rolls at the end. That's just a little too artistic for this. So now we're trying to make the drums the main character here. So here I just want the high frequencies to play with the low frequencies and leave a little more room rhythmically. just gonna mix this a little bit. Let's also try a different bell sound here. Let's see what it sounds like without the EQ. So it definitely could be mixed a lot better. The lows are just so low and they stacked up that it's hard to really blend them. So I would definitely remix this. If you guys want the project files for free, go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Peace out, guys.